so much, everybody, for having me. First and foremost, this grog ball. What the hell kind of hazing is going on here in the Air Force? I thought I saw it all in the Marine Corps. But, you know, let's get to first things. Colonel Manning, thank you so much for this invitation. Captain Support, and thank you so much for this invitation. It really is an honor speaking to you all tonight. You know, I just consider myself just a humble Marine and studying up there at the Divinity School, and this was really an honor, you know, to be asked to speak in front of this crowd here tonight. The instructors and staff officers of the Academy at 009, greetings. My date, I heard it's a good thing to always greet your date at such events. Greetings. Friends and family, greetings to all. A very special, you know, greeting to all the men and women who have served, the veterans and those who are actively serving our armed forces today. I would extend a special greeting to you all. And another very special greeting to all the cadets here tonight. You know, you know, seeing you all here in your uniforms and seeing so many of you young folks here really reminds me of when I first, you know, decided to go ahead and join the armed forces. I was fresh out of high school. I was 18 years old, and I was really deciding what branch I wanted to serve in. The service was never an issue to me. You know, I'm from a family of immigrants, and I think giving back to your country by serving in the armed forces is probably one of the greatest and most direct ways we can give back to the country that has given you and your family so much. So service was not an issue. It was decided a branch. And if any of you guys know Las Vegas, and I'm pretty sure some of you who are Air Force veterans here know about Las Vegas. That's an Air Force town. Nellis Air Force Base is pretty much in our city, North Las Vegas, where I grew up. And it's a huge base. The high school I went to, Rancho High School, where we had the Air Force ROTC, actually was the designated zone school for all the quote-unquote Air Force brats. So, you know, I've been around the Air Force for a very long time. And that being said, I wanted to serve in a branch other than the Air Force. So I was looking at the other three. I narrowed it down to the Department of the Navy, and I was being recruited by the Navy as well as the Marine Corps. And the funny thing is, their offices are right by each other. You know, in North Las Vegas, where they have their recruiting station there. And I was going back and forth. I was trying to decide, you know, which branch I was going to join. You know, the Navy said, yeah, you can do this, you can do cool things, you can get these aircraft carriers. The Marines are like, hey, you can be a tough guy, go out there and shoot a big gun. You know, so they're really trying to recruit me. And remember, this is December 2003. You know, this is a pretty significant time in our history. You know, there was a lot of things going on in December 2003. So, you know, as any good Marine staff sergeant usually does, I'm sitting at a desk across from my recruiter. And he says to me, look, Ruben, I'm just going to cut right down to the nitty-gritty of this. You know, if you join the Marine Corps, you're going to be wearing what I'm wearing. You see these dress blues? I'll tell you one thing. There's no other branch of service out there that can get you the amount of girls that these dress blues can get you. I was sold. I was sold on the dress blues. I found myself in boot camp very shortly after that, about 6 weeks, and I was asking myself, this better be worth it. I better get a few girlfriends. So lo and behold, you know, a few years passed, and I was at a Toys for Tots event. You know, the Marines here will tell you that the Toys for Tots is a big part of our mission, our domestic mission here in the United States. It's the largest toy drive in the country. So after our event, we were over at a bar, right at the mouth of the entrance to Nellis Air Force Base. It's called the 21 Club or the 51 Club. I forgot exactly the name of it. It's a few years back. And the 51 Club. 51 Club. So it's right at the mouth, at the main entrance of the gate on the corner of Nellis and Craig. So it's a hangout for you know, a lot of the folks there at the base. So I'm over there hanging out with some of my fellow Marines. And as soon as we get there, yeah, you know, some of the ladies gravitate towards you. And another thing, you fellas out there, I'm really talking to you, and ladies too. Remember, when you're in the service, There's going to be a lot of these local town folks, people that want to, get a little bit acquainted with you. I'm just warning you out there. I'm pretty sure you're going to get this in your indoctrination too when you get to your home base. So be mindful of that. We're mindful, of course, but we're at the bar hanging out, talking to these beautiful young ladies, and then all of a sudden these fly boys come in, right? These airmen in their flight suits, and as soon as they came in, the ladies just got up from where they're sitting at with us and go over to the airmen and hang out with them. I was thinking about my staff son. I'm like, you know what? All that stuff I've been doing in boot camp, I should have joined the Air Force. But I do have some prepared comments that I want to share with you tonight. So I actually did prepare some comments. Now I'm not going to ad-lib the entire remarks here tonight. So with that said, you've all probably heard this a million times already. But there are so many people who are absolutely thrilled and just so proud of you. It really means a lot to so many people that Yale University has reinstated its ROTC program. And once again, the sight of young men and women in uniform walking Yale's hallways and sitting inside its classrooms, right alongside the suits and the hoodies, it's not a relic of some bygone era, but an integral part of Bulldog identity today. I've recently also come to find out that very loud cadence calls and the recitations to general orders around the Sterling Library area are, again, very much part of this revival. And I think it's safe to say that we can all assume who the culprits might be. In both the ancient Eastern and Western cultures, we have this concept of a warrior scholar. Plato, in his famous The Republic, gives us a description as to what this notion of a warrior scholar might entail. He describes them as people of considerable physical prowess, yet balanced by a sophisticated intellect. Plato always argued that sole brute physical strength could never equate to the perfection of what a true warrior was supposed to embody. But instead, Plato highlighted the importance of people who were not only athletically talented, physically capable, and good fighters, but also intellectually inclined to understand the complexities of the situations they were fighting in and the causes which they were fighting for. Plato argued that these people, these warrior scholars, would be the bedrock upon which the strength and glory of the polis, the city-state, would be formed, as well as the people who would both guard and defend the polis from outside threats and project the interests of the polis beyond the walls of the city-state. Side note, so in a nutshell, what Plato's telling you, if you want to make old Plato proud, do well in your midterms, do well in your finals, and do well in those physical fitness exams. Studying at Yale and participating in ROTC, I think, really does make you all the preeminent examples of warrior scholars out there today. You all will be receiving a world-class education, there's no doubt about that. And I'm pretty certain that Colonel Manning will be making sure that your training will be as rigorous as can be in order to prepare you for the realities of the leadership roles that you will take upon yourselves almost immediately after receiving your commissions and entering active duty in the service of our country. Many times the realities of the leadership roles may require you to make a life and death decision at the drop of a hat, or require you to make tremendous sacrifices of yourselves and even your families in order to better serve and lead the troops put under your charge. Believe me, I know. I've seen such things with my very own eyes. I can say with a great deal of confidence that very, very few of your classmates here at Yale will have as much responsibility placed on their shoulders as you will the minute that you graduate. That's why it is of the utmost importance for you all to prepare yourselves as thoroughly as possible over the next 3.5 years. And half, I'm saying, because the semester's halfway over, thank goodness. To prepare yourselves to be able to fly, fight, and win. Take advantage of the great educational opportunities made open to you. Master the art of war, but know how to make peace. Learn how to perform well in the field of battle, but also learn about and understand the cultures, languages, histories, and societies of the very diverse people and nations you will be dealing with, face to face for much of your careers. That last part is very important. As we keep moving forward into the ever-globalizing 21st century, your ability to navigate those social, cultural, and linguistic terrains will be a very important skill set for both being a representative of and leaders in the United States Armed Forces. We really are at a crossroads in the course of our human story. The world is making a very rapid transition into a new chapter of its history. A chapter highlighted by globalization, shrinking spaces, great technological advancement, and levels of social and economic interrelation and interconnectedness that we have never seen before. Of course, this means that new types of challenges, threats, difficulties will emerge, that really haven't had any kind of precedent in our past. New and innovative thinking will be required to deal with things like cyber terrorism, international and very organized crime syndicates, continued threats from terrorism, a rise in China, and a possibly nuclear Iran. As members of our nation's armed forces, you will be at the vanguard of any such confrontation. For better or for worse, the military has always been the American institution on whose shoulders the ultimate security and well-being of our country lies. It's imperative that you are prepared for this responsibility. There are many people, many of whom are from this country itself, who say that we have, as a nation, are not ready for these challenges, that the power of global events are so strong that we can't do anything to influence these currents, that our best days are behind us. Well, to be quite honest, this ain't the first time that they've said that. I'll tell you that. They said we couldn't beat the British Empire. Sorry, Colonel. Get out with independence. But we prevailed. When faced with a civil war that tore this nation in half and pitted brother against brother and father against son, even through such a divisive moment in our history, we prevailed. When face to face with fascism and its brutal tyranny, and immediately thereafter, an international and nuclear-armed communist threat, even from the brink of such disaster, we prevailed. And they, as President Ronald Reagan so eloquently put it, were relegated to the ash heap of history. We have always risen to times of challenge, and we have always prevailed together through moments of great change and instability. Our current President, Barack Obama, has said many times that the American destiny has never been written for us. It has always been written by us. The question now is whether you will be able to carry on this great legacy, whether you can be the leaders of a generation that will keep this country safe and free, and prevail against all the adversity and challenges that the 21st century will have to offer, or whether some other possibility may ensue. This is the challenge I want to put before you tonight, to lead and to prevail. The Yale class of 1942 faced the world in the midst of total war. Many of those graduates are going to fight in Europe and in the Pacific. The Yale class of 1960 faced the world tethering on the brink of nuclear war and global instability caused by decolonization. Their young president challenged them to ask what they could do for their country. And many stepped up to this challenge to serve. The Yale class of 1968 faced a nation torn apart by racial strife and war protests. Many of these graduates, too, found themselves in Southeast Asia taking part in conflict that's bitterly divided their country back home. Sadly, we saw the dismantling of the Yale ROTC program shortly after this. Young cadets, what will your legacy be? We'll say the cadets from the Yale class of 2050, not too far from now, hope them around, look back at you as a source of inspiration. Will they see in your achievement examples of what they too should aspire for? Or will these future cadets see you as part of the generation that dropped the ball, that allowed our nation to be overwhelmed by the challenges that faced them? Or, God forbid, allowed our country to become a second or third-rate force in the world? Only time will tell. Today, the choice is yours, cadets. Cadets, the nation, the world, and our local communities expect much from you. To be quite honest, this is me speaking to you personally, Ruben freaking De Silva up there from the Divinity School up on the hill. I have a high degree of faith in you, and I know that you will make our country, our school, and your families proud. I can almost assure you that you will be successful as leaders if you stay true to those core Air Force values that will become so intimate to you over the next 4 years. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all that you do. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all that you do. I assure you that if you keep true to these core Air Force values, success will follow, and you will not falter in the great roles of leadership and responsibility you will be placed in very soon. I have full faith in you. I leave you now with words that are especially important to recollect. The Airman's Creed, and this is coming from a Marine, mind you. I am an American airman. I am a warrior. I have answered my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, guardian of freedom and justice, my nation's sword and shield, its sentry and avenger. I defend my country with my life. I am an American airman, wingman, leader, warrior. I will never falter, and I will not fail. God bless you all, God bless our country, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.